Kamaru Usman has laid out plans for a huge UFC super fight in Africa. Usman has spent much of his life living in the United States, but was born in Nigeria, and has always represented the African country in the Octagon. It's safe to say he has represented it well. Usman is the former UFC welterweight champion, and most fans consider him the second best fighter in the division's history behind Canadian legend Georges St-Pierre. Usman was back in action this past weekend, taking on Joaquin Buckley in the main event of the UFC's return to Atlanta. It was his first fight since a short-notice middleweight loss to Khamzat Chimaev in late 2023, but the layoff didn't seem to affect him. Instead, he picked up a lopsided win over Buckley, who was one of the top contenders in the weight class ahead of time. After his victory over Buckley, Usman has set his sights on reclaiming the welterweight title. Time will tell if he is able to achieve that feat. If Usman were to reclaim the title, it would cement him as one of the best fighters in MMA history. However, he would still not be satisfied with his legacy. Speaking to TMZ after his win over Buckley, Usman expressed interest in a future super fight with UFC middleweight champion Dricus du Plessis. Du Plessis, of course, is from South Africa, which would turn their clash into an epic all-Africa showdown. After getting the belt, they asked and waited years for me to go up and get the middleweight belt, so why not? Usman said via MMA Mania. I will relinquish that if Dricus du Plessis is still the champion, all-African card. Africa vs. Africa, first card in Africa. UFC is close to getting that done. South Africa vs. Nigeria. It's a rivalry that's been built forever, sports rivalry. I think that's another blockbuster, two mega events that you're gonna remember forever. Manifestation is very powerful. If things start to fall in line, I think we're gonna see a pretty interesting next 18 months. Of course, a lot needs to happen before Usman and du Plessis can fight. Most notably, du Plessis will need to get by undefeated contender Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 319 on August 16 in Chicago.